Have you ever found yourself nodding along to someone's opinion, only to later wonder, wait, why did I just agree with that? Or maybe you've bought something on a friend's recommendation, without a second thought. It happens to all of us. We constantly accept what others say, sometimes without even realizing it. But why? Why are we so willing to take their words as gospel? This isn't about being naive or easily fooled. It's a fundamental part of how our brains are wired and how our societies are built. Think about it from a survival perspective. Way back when, our ancestors had to rely on each other to survive. If someone from your tribe shouted, "Watch out, a lion," you didn't stop to ask, "Are you sure? Can you provide evidence?" No, you ran. Accepting their words meant survival. Trust was the glue that held the community together, and that instinct is still deeply ingrained in us today. We are social creatures, and trusting others is our default setting. It's simply more efficient than questioning every single piece of information we receive. This brings us to a huge factor: cognitive efficiency. Our brains are incredibly powerful, but they're also lazy. They're constantly looking for shortcuts to save energy. Every day, we're bombarded with an overwhelming amount of information. Imagine if you had to personally verify every single fact you encountered. You'd have to check the weather yourself, research the nutritional content of every food item, and become an expert in politics, economics, and science just to get through the day. It's impossible. So, we rely on heuristics, or mental shortcuts. Trusting an expert, a friend, or a reputable source is one of the most effective shortcuts we have. It allows us to navigate a complex world without getting stuck in a loop of constant analysis. We delegate the task of verification to others we deem trustworthy. Now, who do we choose to trust? This is where authority and expertise come into play. When a doctor in a white coat tells you to take a certain medication, you're likely to do it. When a certified financial advisor suggests an investment strategy, you listen. We're conditioned from a very young age to respect authority figures, parents, teachers, and experts. Their titles, credentials, and experience signal a level of knowledge that we don't possess. This is called the authority bias. We automatically assume that because someone is an expert in one area, their opinion holds more weight, and we're more likely to accept it without question. It's a useful shortcut, but as we'll see, it can also lead us astray. But it's not just about formal authority. Social proof is another incredibly powerful force. This is the idea that if a lot of other people are doing or saying something, it must be the right thing to do or say. You see a long line outside a new restaurant, and you instantly think, "Wow, that place must be good." You read a book with thousands of 5-star reviews and assume it's a masterpiece. This is our brain using the wisdom of the crowd as another shortcut. We assume that a large group of people is less likely to be wrong than a single individual. It's why trends catch on, why viral videos spread like wildfire, and why online reviews can make or break a business. We look to others for cues on how to think, feel, and act. And it gets even more personal than that. We are far more likely to accept the words of people we know, like, and feel connected to. This is the principle of liking. We trust our friends, family, and people we admire. When a close friend recommends a movie, you're more inclined to watch it than if a random stranger did. This is because our relationship with them creates a baseline of trust and shared values. We believe they have our best interests at heart. This is also why influencer marketing is so effective. We develop a sense of connection with these online personalities, a parasocial relationship, and their recommendations feel like advice from a trusted friend rather than a cold advertisement. Another key piece of the puzzle is our own desire for consistency and to avoid cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is that uncomfortable mental feeling you get when you hold to conflicting beliefs, or when your actions don't align with your beliefs. To avoid this discomfort, we often filter information. If someone says something that confirms a belief we already hold, we're very quick to accept it. This is called confirmation bias. It feels good to have our worldview validated. Conversely, if someone presents information that challenges our deeply held beliefs, our first instinct is often to reject it, find flaws in their argument, or question their motives. Accepting their words would force us to reevaluate our own beliefs, which can be mentally taxing and even emotionally painful. So, we often choose the easier path, accepting words that fit our existing narrative. Think about the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. Our beliefs are part of our identity. If you identify as a health-conscious person, you'll readily accept information about the benefits of organic kale. If someone challenges that, they're not just challenging a fact. They're challenging a part of your identity. So, we accept words that reinforce our sense of self. So, we've got survival instincts, mental shortcuts, authority bias, social proof, the power of liking, and the desire to avoid cognitive dissonance. All these factors work together, often subconsciously, to make us accept what others say. It's a complex dance of psychology and social dynamics. But knowing all this raises an important question. If we're so wired to accept, how do we protect ourselves from misinformation or manipulation? The answer isn't to become cynical and distrust everyone. That would be exhausting and would isolate us. The key is to move from blind acceptance to conscious evaluation. It's about developing critical thinking skills. The first step is simply awareness. Just by understanding these psychological triggers we've talked about, you're already in a better position. When you feel yourself immediately agreeing with someone, you can pause and ask yourself why. Is it because they're an expert? Is it because all your friends think the same way? Is it because it confirms what you already wanted to believe? This simple act of pausing and questioning is incredibly powerful. Next, consider the source. Who is this person? What are their qualifications? More importantly, what might be their motive? Are they trying to inform you, persuade you, or sell you something? Do they have a vested interest in you believing them? A scientist publishing peer-reviewed research has a different motive than a salesperson earning a commission. Learning to evaluate sources and identify potential biases is a crucial skill in the digital age. Also, be open to challenging your own beliefs. This is the hardest part. Actively seek out perspectives that are different from your own. Read articles or watch videos from people you don't necessarily agree with. The goal isn't to change your mind on everything, but to understand different viewpoints and strengthen your own arguments. If your beliefs can withstand scrutiny, they become stronger. If they can't, maybe they're worth reevaluating. Being intellectually humble, recognizing that you don't know everything, is a sign of strength, not weakness. So, why do we accept their words? Because we are human. We are built for trust, community, and efficiency. These are not weaknesses. They are the very things that have allowed us to build civilizations. But, in a world overflowing with information and opinions, we also need to be discerning. The goal is to find that balance between being open-minded and being a critical thinker. It's about turning our automatic, unconscious acceptance into a conscious, thoughtful choice. By understanding the why, we empower ourselves to decide when and from whom we accept the words of others. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into our own minds. If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you think. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.